Good morning, everyone. My name is Paul. I am the Director of Student Ministries at Slater United Methodist Church. Thank you for joining us in worship today, and welcome to the youth devotional time of the worship service. So, when I was a kid, I got the flu, as many kids do, and it's miserable and it's horrible, as everyone who's had the flu knows. And it can especially be horrible when it happens like it did to me on vacation. Me and my parents were 600 miles away from home, and I come down with the temperature and feeling awful, and it was bad. And this is back in the 1980s, not the 1880s, but the 1980s, and you still didn't have Tamiflu, so you really didn't have any way to treat the flu. And we're on vacation, so there's not a whole lot we can do. And we paid all this money for the vacation. So I remember basically we just kind of kept on with the trip. And when I felt really, really bad, I just stayed in the car while my parents went and took my sister to do some things. Because we're in New Mexico. It was pretty cool. I wasn't in any kind of danger or anything. And I don't blame my parents for doing it. But I remember at the time just feeling really left out and really abandoned, because I'd been looking forward to this vacation for months. And it was just completely ruined. And other people got to do good things and cool things, and I'm stuck in the car, feeling like trash. And I don't know if you've ever experienced something similar where you've had this sense of just abandonment, of that things aren't like they should be, that people have left you behind. And I think we've all felt that way. We've all felt when a friend kind of slowly drifts away from us, or suddenly moves out of town and we feel left behind. Or even at a more serious level, maybe we've had some family disruptions. Maybe we've had situations where someone died and we just feel really abandoned. And today is Ascension Sunday, and we don't normally think of ascension as abandonment. When Jesus ascension means going up, and when Jesus went up into heaven, we don't think of that as abandoning the disciples. But I think there's some abandonment in there. If you think about being a disciple, put yourself in their world, that you followed Jesus for 3 years, you watched him do all these miracles, he comes into Jerusalem, you think he's going to be this big king who's going to rescue everyone. He dies a horrible death, and then a few days later, he's alive, and you don't believe it at first. But then he keeps appearing to you, and he keeps teaching you, and he shows you how all this stuff was something that he predicted would come true, and that he's going to send this Holy Spirit to you, and you're like, cool, but Jesus, you're here, so all is good, right? And then Jesus takes them out to this mountain, and he blesses them, and it says as he's blessing them, he's gone. Now, I would think that you would feel pretty abandoned in that situation, that the disciples would feel that Jesus was gone, that he had just left them. But like God always does, man, he's so good at this. Like God always does, he turns our expectations upside down. And in the text, you can find it in Luke 24 at the end of the chapter, it says the disciples went away filled with joy. What? Why would you be filled with joy? Jesus just left. I don't understand. And in our human capability to feel, we can't really understand this, I don't think. But when we have the supernatural love of God's Spirit in us, things are different. In verse 49, right before the part where it talks about Jesus taking them out to the mountain, it says, stay in the city until heavenly power comes upon you. And they've got this thing to look forward to. And that's what gives them, I think, probably the supernatural joy of waiting for that Holy Spirit to come. And a lot of us right now are really, really tired of waiting. And it's really, really hard to see how anything is going to be blessed right now, because we're all kind of tired of this quarantine thing. We want to eat out again. We want life to be normal. And we have to realize it's not going to be normal as we thought it would be. But God keeps giving us blessings. As Jesus blessed the disciples, God keeps blessing us. I know. Oh my goodness, I know. It's hard to see your family as a blessing right now because you're with them all the time. But your brothers and sisters and your parents are your blessings to you. and God's way of blessing you. And it's just up to us to see all the blessings that we've been given, and to see the care of God in our lives, and to see the care of God with all the things that we have, even when we feel abandoned. And we're still going to feel that way sometimes. But to know that God is with us, and that is unshakable. It's not like my parents and sister going off and doing something fun and leaving me behind. It's unshakable. God is always with us. God's love is always with us. And it's just up to us to live in that joy and to worship as the disciples did, and to have joy. And it says they were continuously in the temple being filled with joy. And I just pray that you will find that joy, that you will find that peace of mind, and that will be something that can carry you through this time of maybe feeling abandoned. So I hope that these words can bring you some of that. I hope that as you continue to grow closer to God through this time, and as we look forward to what our new experiences will be like when church opens up again, and it isn't really the church opening up again, it's just the doors opening up again. The church has been here this whole time, and that we can find ways to grow closer to God, even though we are apart. So thank you for listening this morning. Love all of you, and hope to see you soon.